Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to another edition of Getting to Know a Junkie. Today's junkie is from Morrisville, Vermont, if I'm correct, and he goes by Isaac Gresser, according to the law, but maybe we'll find out something else going forward. Isaac, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me. I feel like I've watched this before, and that this is when it sounds like there's a crowd applauding me.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't hear it. I don't hear it now, but I'm just gonna act like.
Take it in. Take it in.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Did you hear about that election that's going on?
Yeah, it's something, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's getting some traction on the news.
yeah, man. It's red is losing to blue right now, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Last I heard. Yeah, it's like we got 2 or 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and red's down, man.
You're just hoping. So okay, let's get to know Isaac Gresser, not the political side of you now.
Cool.
Are you a chef?
Yeah. Yep.
And you own a barbecue joint?
I did.
Okay.
I no longer do. I had a food truck, so we did 3 years doing whole hog, low country South Carolina style barbecue.
Oh, and you were doing all the cooking?
I was doing all the pig roasting. I had 3 other partners in the business. One of them raised pigs. The other 2 were both chefs and cooks, so they would, one of them basically towed the trailer around for the most part, did a lot of the other prep, but the pigs themselves, the cooking, once you put them on the smoker until the time it's done cooking is usually 24 to 28 hours.
Okay.
And that's not including the time it took me to drive an hour to go pick up the pigs and bring them back.
Yeah.
So 2 hours back and forth. So it was a 36-hour project usually.
And how many times a week are you driving back?
Twice a week. Doing pigs. So they would get slaughtered on Monday. Tuesday I would pick them up, cook them from Tuesday into Wednesday. At the end of the day Wednesday, pull the pigs, pack up all the meat, drive it over to the kitchen that we were renting, store it all, and then my other business partners would be taking that and going out to wherever we were going for the day. Then usually I'd go home, sleep Wednesday into Thursday mid-afternoon, get up, work on the truck Thursday.
Do your clothes
Friday.
At this point, when you were doing this, your clothes constantly smell of barbecue?
Oh yeah, it's pretty intense. I basically, not only did I smell like barbecue, but most of my clothes either had I have one shirt that I just started wearing for barbecue, and at this point there's probably 200 holes in the back just from little bits of the fire. It landed on me because the whole setup is you have a big barrel. It's an old propane tank. You load your wood, which is mostly maple and apple and cherry. In the top there's a grate. The wood burns on that and the coals fall through, and you shovel those hot coals into the smokers under the pig, so it's direct heat.
Okay.
No open flame. So basically I just made my own charcoal. So Mondays we usually went out in the woods and we would drop trees and cut and split 3 cords of wood.
Oh my God.
And I was just every day also. I was nonstop. And
were you exhausted?
By the end of the summer, yeah. I mean, it was you were fighting to stay awake.
So how did you learn about all that stuff? How'd you get into barbecue and cooking and
cooking? I guess sort of started professionally, mostly out of a necessity to graduate from high school.
Okay.
I took a culinary class and it offered a math credit, a science credit, and then an elective credit, and I was 3 credits short of graduating. So I passed that. And,
nice!
I graduated. Yeah, I graduated high school. That was pretty.
Nice.
That was pretty impressive. But but then I got into it, and I, especially at that age, I was a pretty heavy partier. I did a lot of drugs, did a lot of partying.
Yeah.
And the idea of being able to go into work at 1 in the afternoon and get out at midnight or whatever, and then you could party all night.
Yeah, fit your schedule, awesome. Your lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect. And then by the time I grew out of all that and I started transitioning a little bit, I started working morning shifts, and I would go in at 5 in the morning and I would be done by 1 in the afternoon, and I felt like a fucking normal human being for once.
Yeah, totally.
And it was nice. But so it's always sort of it's something I really enjoy. Like, I like feeding people. Like, I like the interaction of, like, I don't like cooking for myself, but like I love feeding people.
Oh, wow.
And so like being able to do that and being able to, like, because it's a fucking intimate thing, right? Like you're making something and then they're putting it in their mouth
Yeah.
and putting it in their body, and like, that's a really like intimate, and you have to have a lot of trust in somebody, and it's like one of those things that you don't think about when you're just going and grabbing a burger most of the time, but it's like it's there and it's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
there, and it's something that I enjoy and I take seriously, and so. Yeah, I've worked all over. I went, took culinary arts. Went to New England Culinary Institute,
Oh, wow.
and then from there worked in Burlington, Vermont. Actually, right behind you, over your shoulder, there was like almost across from the Ben and Jerry's there.
Yeah.
That tall building is what I worked in for
Oh, really?
almost a year, and then like down the street around the corner, I worked at another spot, and that was right before I moved to New York City and worked there for a while. Ended up in the Hamptons working as like a private
Jeez.
chef for a billionaire.
Oh my God.
Then,
was that awesome?
yeah, it was a really cool job. Yeah, like
He take care of you?
he paid, yeah, they took really good care of us. They paid us like $350 a day cash.
Wow.
They gave me a car, they gave me a house to stay in. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
What
so,
about
like,
did they give you like any women or anything?
and no, I was not gifted any women. I did not cook for Jeffrey Epstein, or did not meet the Clintons.
These are my 4 daughters.
Yeah, I did cook for Howard Stern one of the times I was out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he lived like down the street. It was like a really weird, like surreal experience, because like I grew up in a town probably about 45 minutes from here that literally had 200 people in it. We didn't have any paved roads. We didn't even have our own post office, like nothing. It was
what age did you live there through?
I grew up there. I lived there until I graduated high school.
How many people were in your like high school?
My high school itself was about 800 kids.
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
But that was a school that covered like 5 or 6 area towns. So it was like basically like people would come from all over to go there, because there wasn't a lot of there just aren't a lot of schools in my town. Like it was just like you picked whatever school you wanted to go to, and the tax dollars would go to that school. They just were like, yeah, whatever you want, we don't really care.
That's so. When was like going to like New York or going to culinary school? Was that a big shock to you?
Not really. I mean, my family like grew up in the like not myself, but my father and my mother, they grew up in New Jersey, raised outside of New York City. So we would spend a lot of time as kids there.
Okay.
It was a bit of like I think the biggest shock was like going from like Burlington, Vermont to like when I moved to Queens. I lived like 4 or 5 blocks down the street from like the Queensbridge projects, where like Nas and like Mobb Deep and those guys like grew up. And I felt so much safer in Queens than I did in Burlington, Vermont.
Oh, really?
And that was like the most mind-boggling thing, because like in Burlington, like you have like there's 5 colleges, there's a ton of kids, and it's just a bunch of people. There's like 20 bars within like 2 blocks, and so you're always dealing with like just wasted kids who think that they are invincible. And
geez, does everybody love fish?
There's a lot of love for it there. I would not include myself in that category.
Okay.
I like music, but they are not my.
They're not your thing.
Skis. Yeah, not at all. No, I don't get it. I went and saw like a fish show in Coventry. Yeah. Which was like their last official show. Before they split up, and then they came back because they were all broke from.
Totally.
But yeah, I went to find drugs, and it was a good time, but the music was terrible.
But it's the experience.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend.
I mean, there's been times I said to my brother, I've been so myself. I'm like, you know what? I don't care who we go see. I just have fun, like just getting like fucked up and having a good time.
And now, like today, like after this whole year, like going to a concert, like I almost don't care. Like I just love to
Yeah,
go and like hear some live music at this point.
totally. That's, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be amazing. All right,
Yeah, it's gonna be
let's
a good
talk a
time.
little wrestling.
Yeah, let's do it.
When
Let's
did
get into
this
the
come
wrestling.
into? Was wrestling your first love over cooking?
Um, no, wrestling is like it sort of peaked and valleyed for me a little bit. So like I didn't have TV growing up. Like I said, the town I grew up in, small. My parents were hippies. Like I had VHS tapes of like my mom was a dancer, so we could watch like dance
What kind of
performances or
dance?
just like she did like a lot of older like Baroque dance and like
My wife's a dancer.
yes, and she's been a professor of dance up here for fucking ever 40
Oh,
years now.
that's funny. My
She's-
wife is the assistant director of the dance department of University of Illinois, that's where I
Oh,
live
wow.
now. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I bet
that's
we could
awesome.
trade a lot of dance stars.
Yeah, and she actually was born in Chicago before she moved out to New York.
Oh, really?
So there's another little connection there.
Did you
But,
dance at all?
no, I mean, she definitely tried to get us into it, but I think
Yeah.
that like she was so intense about it that it sort of had the
Yeah,
opposite
totally.
effect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
art.
totally. It's an and like I get it. Like
Respect
I respect her and like the amount of work she's put in, but yeah, it's not something I'd want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like I grew up with that, and so like when my parents would be busy with work or whatever, my dad had a friend who lived in the town that I went to school in.
Okay.
And so I would go and stay with him because he lived like 5 minutes from the school, so it was easy to get to school, and my
Sure.
parents didn't have to worry about it. He had he had one of the cable boxes. Like back in the day, I'm 36, so back in the day you had to steal cable if you didn't want to pay for it. You
totally.
could actually like get one of those little cable boxes, and you could fucking get all the channels unscrambled. And so he had one of those, and I would just I remember watching TV when I was going to sleep, and fucking Tatanka is like the one thing that sticks in my brain from that age. I was probably like 10, maybe 11, and like Tatanka, and like trying to wrap my head around like the idea of like what is happening here, like what I'm watching, and like why people are trying like taking it as serious as they are, and like I was like, why is there an Indian fighting like a trash man? Like I just like, but it was the absurdity of it that like really drew me in. And then like all of a sudden it was the Attitude Era, and I was like a 12-year-old and 13-year-old, and like that shit was like, I mean, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah. It was a crack.
And it was amazing. Yeah. And then like you get done with one episode and like you're just like, what is gonna happen?
Yeah,
You wanna
yeah.
see the next one. And I remember flipping back and forth and like being confused about like what was going on Nitro, and always being like, yeah, I'm going back. And so like I watched until probably like 2002, and then I just really got so involved in cooking that I just couldn't watch anymore.
Yeah.
And I got back into it in 2009, and I was like, man, this is like really bad. And it was actually CM Punk that like got me invested again, and
sure.
gave me some hope for the product. And like 3-hour Raws were really hard, but like CM Punk was great, and like that whole thing was good, and like it gave me enough like momentum to really get back into wrestling again. And met some friends like Shane, who you had on not too long ago, through a cigar group actually. Cool. And like we just would start watching matches, and especially during quarantine, like we watched so many old matches together because we were doing nothing most of the time. And so New Japan, like a lot of New Japan, and like it just, that's like more my style. Like I'm not a huge fan of like a lot of like the smaller guys doing like the flippy shit. I mean, I don't mind it as much, but like there's an extent to it. Like, if I watch wrestling because it's like it's a fight and I want to see a fight, but I don't necessarily want to see people actually get hurt, and so like it's a fine line. And so like that's why I like wrestling, and getting to see that, like the drama and the tension of a brawl, like like that Walter fight the other night. Was incredible, and like, but at no point during that did it like feel like anyone was genuinely going to get like permanently hurt. Like, like he came out of it looking like he got the shit kicked out of him, like welted up and blood pouring out of his mouth. But it felt like a real fight, but it also looked like it was safe enough where like you can feel, you don't feel like you're doing like blood sport, like paying to see people get like their lives short.
Yeah, like what happened to you? I just got my ass kicked.
Exactly.
Out of me.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question that just popped into my head. Are you single or with someone? Because I have a question that comes out of that.
Yeah, I got divorced last year at the end of the year, and then I've been seeing someone. It's super long. It's like long distance, so it's a bit of a hassle. But yeah.
Because my question was going to be,
especially with COVID.
Yeah. I was going to say, is it important to you that like your ex-wife or your new girlfriend like wrestling?
Nah, I don't give a shit.
That wasn't, you didn't care.
No, I mean there were things like I feel like it's such a niche like entertainment product for the most part. Like there's a lot of people that are like will watch it, but like to be like a fan of it, like it's like any sport, like you almost have to be a nerd in a certain way. Yeah. And like if you find someone who's nerdy for the same shit you are, that's awesome. But like I also have like a lot of respect because like everyone's got their own nerd shit that they're into, and like
totally.
So I'm not gonna be like, that's definitely not a deal breaker, because if it was, boy oh boy, you'd probably never get laid.
Like seriously, like if she gave you shit about it, like you shouldn't be watching, it's for kids.
Yeah,
then maybe.
Yeah, well, then I would probably show her like, I don't know,
the door?
Mick Foley. Mick Foley getting thrown off the cell would be like, that's for kids, totally. Huh? Or him in that I Quit match with Rock, I'd be like, that's for kids, huh?
Totally.
Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things that like, I have so much weird shit that I'm into that like, she's
what other things are you into other than wrestling and cooking?
Wrestling, cooking. I've got a rock collection. I got a lot of autographs now these days.
Can you show me some?
Yeah, I got a couple here.
Awesome.
I've been getting some 8x10s. I'm gonna move my cat for a second. Sorry, Matt. When you watch Such Good Shoot, our podcast, if my cat comes in, everybody has to drink, and so a lot of times by the end we get.
That's hilarious.
So this is one I got recently. That's a pretty sweet one. It's I don't know if you see that. That's a NWO one. So that's Scott Hall. It's X-Pac and Kevin Nash.
That is awesome. And it's a cool picture too.
Yeah, it's a cool one. It's got Hogan in the back, and it would be cool if I could get Hogan to sign it someday.
But even not, it's still awesome. What was the back?
But that one is Roddy Piper. This one is like definitely one.
Did you have to buy that one?
Yeah, I bought both of these ones. Well, most of them I've gotten either I bought or I've gotten through the Pro Wrestling crates or Pro Wrestling Loot Crate, one of those. So let's see, what was the other one here? This one I got through, I think, Pro Wrestling Crate, and it's just like one of the most brutal pictures. I love Walter, but it looks like he's caving a hole through me.
Yeah, it looks there. That is the weirdest one.
I love it. This is one of my favorite autographs. It's not an 8x10, but it's a copy of the restraining order that Jim Cornette sells. Vince Russo filed the restraining order against Jim Cornette, and he sells them on his website. And that's just like one of those pieces of memorabilia. I was like,
that's hilarious. And you keep it in plastic?
Yeah, I keep it in the in one of the sleeves with the 8x10. So. And then what did I have here? I got the official Jim Cornette one.
Nice.
I sent one to.
Oh, that's so funny.
Fuck Vince Russo. I sent one to Shane because Shane hates Cornette, so I sent him one where Cornette was talking shit about his mustache. So.
It's a funny expression on Cornette's face in that picture.
He's so funny, man. He's got it. And then this is something I got recently from one of the signings that Mick Foley did.
Oh, cool!
Which is sweet. So he like drew the Sacco and then did a Mr. Sacco.
Oh, that's a fun one to have.
Yeah, I was like, I love Foley. He's probably if gun to my head, my favorite all-time wrestler. So
It's funny because he, like, for how much, like, chair shots and all this shit, like, to his head, he's so, like, eloquent and well thought out. It doesn't seem like he had been spent 30 years taking chair shots.
It's kind of amazing that he's as cognizant as he is, because I mean, even that one match against The Rock would have done it to me. But and just like what an incredibly sweet guy he seems like he is. Like all his going and volunteering to be Santa at like Santa's village just so he can be Santa and like make kids happy, and like
he's always like with his family and stuff. Like you can tell he's just a good guy.
Yeah. There's like, you never hear anyone say a bad word about Rick Foley.
Well, except Ric Flair.
At the same time, well, Ric Flair is Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair, but whatever. Totally. But at the same time, it's like, and who is given more, for our entertainment than Mick Foley of themselves? Like he really gave everything he possibly could. And
he's been relevant for 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, do you ever watch wrestling with someone?
I watch
or online?
Usually online these days. I used to have, when I lived a little, like an hour and a half down south from where I am now, right on the border of New Hampshire. I would watch Raw and pay-per-views with one of my buddies.
Oh, cool.
But we just live too far apart now. So like if I watch, it's usually with Shane and Aaron from the group, because we'll watch a lot of stuff together for the podcast.
Do you guys watch it live or DVR?
It depends. We watch a lot of stuff DVR just because both of our schedules are so crazy. Like my schedule alone is insane, and then Shane's is crazy too. So we end up, when we can find overlaps, we take advantage.
Let me ask you a possibly personal question. Not possibly, definitely.
Go for it.
Possibly came out. So
it's like maybe. Oh wait, not that kind of question.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So you may not be able to tell, but I was divorced as well.
Yeah.
At a certain point, and wrestling took on a huge role. When we split. Did that did that help you at least through your experience?
Yeah, I guess I haven't thought about it, but I think, definitely, it gave me a place to like reach out and connect with new people over a shared experience. So like it gave me the opportunity to get into Pro Wrestling Junkies, which is like, a lot of good people in there. And that was a little bit later, but still, like right after I got divorced, I broke my leg.
Oh, geez.
So I slipped on some ice. I dislocated my ankle, broke my leg and my ankle. And
how long were you in the hospital?
I wasn't in the hospital very long. I had been drinking some tequila and I slipped on some ice. Yeah, God, it was good. It's good times until.
So you're basically just a fun guy.
I try. I mean, sometimes
so much fun.
I can be pretty boring when I'm working. If I have time off, I can.
Let me ask you another personal question. Did your ex come visit you in the hospital when you broke your leg? Oh, okay.
She came with my son.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Now we have a ton more to talk. How old? You have just one child.
Yep.
And how old is he?
He's going to be 3 in December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so do you get to see him often? Does he live with you or lives with his mom?
I see him. He lives with his mom. They're like 7 minutes from here.
Oh,
and
nice.
I see him every day. The only days I usually don't see him is Sunday. He usually spends the whole day with her.
Okay.
On Sunday. Then I have him like Friday night to Saturday.
Oh, he sleeps over and stuff?
Yeah. But then I have him after his nap every day. When he wakes up from his nap, I have him for like 3 hours usually, and we hang out. And
do you ever like expose him to wrestling at all? I mean, not that he would probably know.
Not yet, but I mean, a little bit, but not yet really.
Is that though the part of the plan eventually?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think someday. I mean, but at the same time, like for me, whatever he gets into, I want to support him. I'm not trying to push him in any direction.
Totally.
So like if he gets into it because I'm into it, then great. I'd love it if he got into baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I go
That's
to
it.
games with him
Oh,
because
that's
I'm a huge baseball fan, and like it's just I don't
what's the
know. There's
close?
something
What
about
team are you attached to?
I'm actually an Oakland A's fan of all of
Really?
all of all teams. Yeah.
Oh, so you
I'm
have
a,
an opinion then on Tony La Russa
oh
taking
my
the
god,
Sox
yeah.
job?
Oh my god, I have a huge opinion on that. I think it's insane. I mean, unless you're interested in is like getting news coverage.
Yeah, I don't
I
understand.
think it's insane, especially with COVID going on. You're gonna kill the poor man.
Yeah, I'm a Sox fan, and like, yeah, it was cool for like, oh, in the rumors, oh, they're looking at Tony La Russa. Oh, that's kind of cool, but never. I mean,
He's what,
he
76 or something?
yes, like
Yeah, he's
like most people are retired at that point. I can't relate to a 75-year-old man.
that's yeah, and I get that he's got a lot of experience, but like the last, I mean, what he got the Cardinals to
Yeah,
the World Series with
he won two with them.
Pujols.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but I don't see it. He's like I just don't see him connecting.
I mean, they really need to
to
bring in a younger staff around him
Yeah.
to relate to.
They're so good at picking like just the weirdest. Like Ozzy,
Yeah.
Ozzy was such a weird choice for manager.
Yeah,
Like
but
I get that he got along with players well, but like he also was just crazy.
but then they've hired like Robin Ventura out of the blue. The guys like
Yeah.
it's like when. All right, favorite wrestler of all time and favorite wrestler currently.
I would say, well, this is good because I can. Oh shit! This is
And
hard.
it doesn't have to be just one.
It's no. It's usually like a toss up between like Mick Foley is usually like gun to my head like all time.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Lesnar is right up there. So is Roddy Piper.
Okay.
Active right now, Minoru Suzuki
Mm-hmm.
and Walter are probably right up there.
Okay.
I like that's my dream match is watching those two guys just chop the hell out of each other for a while.
Where do you have to go to catch like a WWE show or an AEW show? Do you have to drive far?
Last one I got to see, the only one I really got to see was a SmackDown taping. God, that was years ago. It was when Ryback was still in the company. AJ Lee was still in the whole like making out with Kane storyline.
Totally.
And it was Ryback's last squash match where he had like the two jobbers and he did the whole feed me more thing with them, and it was actually Big E's like one of Big E's like main roster tryouts.
Oh, cool.
Before it came up to the main roster, but that was in Manchester, New Hampshire, and from here that's like 3 hours.
That's like the
So
closest big venue.
I could go to Boston too. Boston is like the closest one where if like I wanted to go see like they did like a Money in the Bank there.
Yeah, summer or
thing like that.
Survivor
Yeah, they do.
Series.
So they do some stuff at the TD Garden or the.
Oh, okay. How far is that from you?
Boston for me is probably about 4 hours.
Oh, geez. Is there like a train or something?
No. I mean,
No.
I guess there is a train, but the train probably would take like 6 or 7
Yeah.
hours.
Okay. Okay. So what's the best show you've been to then?
That would be. I mean, that's the only one.
That was the only one.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why I never went when I was living in New York City. Probably just because I was working all the time. But
And it's expensive as
I just
hell
went
to
to
live in New York. Like
oh my god.
that. I moved away from Chicago, and it's like, holy shit! Like things are a lot easier when you're not like in these giant cities.
And
All
I
right.
was making $12 an hour when I was just cooking in the city too.
Did you have a roof over your head?
Yeah. I managed to find a couple of spots. My brother lived out there, so I had a room with him for a little bit until I found my own spot. And then, by the time I finally got sick of it, I moved out.
Would you live there again?
No,
No.
I don't think so. I mean, no, I doubt it. I can't see myself being able to put up with all the people.
Yeah. Totally. Do you have time for a would you rather game?
Yeah, let's play, man. Let's
Okay.
do it.
This first one I crafted specifically for you. Okay.
All right.
Would you rather eat pig fallopian tubes or Rocky Mountain oysters?
Oh, Rocky Mountain oysters are delicious. I've never had pig fallopian tubes though. I don't think so.
They're edible,
I would,
apparently.
yeah. I would have to go with the fallopian tubes just because I've never had them. So
Okay.
I'd like to try them. I've had Rocky Mountain oysters. They're delicious.
And you could put sauce on. I wouldn't restrict you. You know what I mean? To make it
Yeah,
go down.
I'm not doing that Fear Factor Joe Rogan
Got
bullshit.
Got it.
No, I'm gonna make that shit taste good.
All right. Would you rather never watch wrestling again or never cook again?
I think I would have to say never watch wrestling.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because if I stop cooking, I
one
wouldn't
could kill you.
wrestling.
You know? Not
I
eating.
can't. Yeah, I can't. Well, I mean, yeah, and I can't. If I can't make a living too, I don't know what else
Yeah.
I would do.
All right. I'm going to give you one last one.
Let's
Would
do
you
it.
rather live in Afghanistan or North Korea?
Man, I've always wanted to see North Korea because, like, I'm totally fascinated by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would like survive longer than Afghanistan. I think I
Yeah,
would probably
yeah.
end up with a bag over my head in the back of a fucking old Toyota with a couple of letters missing off the back pretty quick. I'd probably
Go on.
I'd probably go North Korea. Yeah.
I kind of
I'd
feel
be
like
so-
if you kept your head down in North Korea and didn't cause trouble, just kind of mind your own business.
Bow to Kim. No, I think
Yeah,
like being as
totally.
tall as I am, they might see me as some sort of god. You know,
I do. If I ended up living there by myself, I would do anything that guy wanted. You know, like
Yeah, I want to stay out of the gulags, man.
Yeah,
I want to go to those
exactly.
prison camps.
I wouldn't last more than 4 to
No.
6 hours in a prison.
No, I'm delicate. When I was living in New York, I got arrested for minor possession of marijuana because I was outside a Greek gambling den, and Vice Squad fucked up a raid on that, and so they couldn't arrest anybody in there. But I had a bag of weed in my pocket, and they had just grabbed me in the shuffle.
Oh, Jesus.
So I spent 24 hours in central booking in Queens, and yeah, it's not fun, man.
Is it scary?
It wasn't scary. It was. I mean, it was terrifying, but not in like the sense that like I'm not worried about getting. I'm 6'4" and I'm like 220. I'm generally not worried about people trying to like fuck with me.
Yeah.
But like the second you get in there, like there's like this immediate like recognition that they don't care about you at all, and that there's nothing you can say that they haven't already heard.
A million times.
And so they just don't care. And so like, you know, like I saw a kid who was like asking for clean water. Like they're just like, we just lost your paperwork because like they could legally hold you for 3 days without pressing charges. So they just were like, yeah, because he was like asking for water and getting pissed because they wouldn't give him water. And so like, yeah, well, so like there was like that was like, oh, you're like, Jesus, you know, like, that was a realization. But I mean, I'm also like, I'm very lucky in the fact that like I'm a white man in America, and like so
you're so white.
Yeah, I get, but I know, no, but I get treated differently, and I know that, and I saw it firsthand, and like, you know, in that moment, sure, it was a useful thing, but at the same time, it's like it's a fucking heavy feeling too. But yeah, so that was no fun. But
is pot legal in Vermont?
Yeah, we got it legalized now, and they actually just recently set up a legal sales system. So like,
nice.
For the last few years, we've been able to like grow our own and like smoke or whatever, and you can give people pot or whatever.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But now we can just blaze.
I thought of one. I just want to ask you one last question before I forget.
Yes, but
let you go.
Shoot, man.
Have you ever killed a pig?
I haven't. No,
Okay.
I wanted to. It was one of the things that I like asked if I was able to, because I felt that it was an important thing for me to do.
Yeah.
If I was gonna have that be such an integral part of what I was doing for a living and like what my business was, but the USDA slaughterhouse regulations wouldn't allow it, so I wasn't allowed to go in and do it. I'm probably happy I didn't in a way, because I don't like killing things. But
you know what I imagine? I'm imagining a fireplace, with candles, and then there's you laying on the floor, and there's like a tray of food or a trough, and then there's like a pig with like makeup on and like really dressed nice, and you guys are drinking wine, and then the next day you murder it and then cook it and serve it to people. That just all went on in my head in that like, quick second.
Man, that's
Sorry
an
about
image.
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, we gotta find an artist. We gotta find an artist.
Totally. I have it all in my head right now.
A mural of that. I would put that on my wall, man. I would absolutely put that on my wall.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna put one of those card hard posters on the wall, then like that'll be fine.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I have to go put my monsters to bed.
Awesome, man.
But it was so much fun talking to you. I definitely want to have you on again. And
absolutely, and we'll try and get you on such good shoot one of these
whenever
days.
you want. I have literally nothing going on. Literally.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we would love that. We would love that. Thank you so much for your time. And
my pleasure, Isaac. Take care.
For doing this show. I love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll see you around, man. All right.